Wait a minute. Okay, well, wait a minute. We're behind. Are you all right, Judy, to go? Okay. Good. A little behind here from our last meeting, but we'll call this meeting to order. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll say pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Public comment?
I have a couple of things. First one, there was no meeting last week because of the ISAC conference, and I may be the only one asking, but I'd like to hear what you learned while you were there. Maybe you were planning to talk about it during board communication, but instead of hearing, I learned a lot, or there were several interesting breakout sessions, I myself would like to hear a little bit more. So I'm going to hand you each a card with 3 questions, and if you could choose 1, 2, or 3, if you're willing, and share with us, that would be great. And you can, I don't necessarily think you have to do it right now, but maybe during board time. For everybody else here, there were 3 questions on the card. Number 1, what's the most important thing you learned? Number 2, what's the most surprising thing you learned? Number 3, is there something you learned that you hope to implement in our county? And that last one may be hard because you may need more information before you wanted to say if you want to implement that. But there is something on the agenda tonight that probably qualifies for that one. Okay. The next thing I wanted to say was that I wanted to respond to a statement made at the last meeting that involved me. And if I can, I'm going to try to play this. And I don't know how the volume's going to be because I'm just playing it on my phone. So we'll see if this works. Nope.
You're not hatcheting anybody. Drake's very proud of what he did, and Sydney's very proud of him doing it.
Okay, let's go with.
Okay. I try not to presume what other people are or are not proud of. And I would hope others maybe feel the same way I do. And I can't speak for Drake. He's an adult and he can speak for himself. And although it's really nobody else's business, I guess I'd like to share what I am proud of. I'm proud I have a grandson who isn't all self-absorbed and totally oblivious to what is happening in our world. He saw a problem, and instead of running to social media to start an argument or a debate, he did his own research and then came, presented what he learned, and asked questions. And that included questions about the minutes, the official minutes book, and the claims. He has attended government schools that, in my opinion, don't teach or promote our rights and the responsibility we each have to guard and exercise those rights. So not only am I proud of him for standing up and getting involved, I'm proud of his parents, his other grandparents, and other people in his life for the part they've played in his life to this point. Local action equals national impact. I would really like to encourage more people, any age, to get involved, and not just on social media. Join me here in the boardroom where you can learn where your tax dollars go, because believe me, they keep going up and they're not going to go down. So please, everybody, come here and get involved. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And we have a lot of people doing nothing in this country. We need more good people involved. Thank you.
Anything else? If not, JD's up.
Good
J.D. King, Page County Engineer. I've looked forward to this evening for a long time. Maybe not this evening specifically, but what's going on this evening with one of our agenda items. You got the packet went out Tuesday afternoon with some attachments. We'll get to the engineer update and then the remainder of the agenda item things. Blades are out for hauling rock with Class D until they switch over at the quarry to Missouri Roadstone again, and all the rock has been placed on the J55 job. Pipe crew finished up removing a field entrance bridge on Teak Avenue east of the East Ottaway Bridge there. And we're gonna work on some field entrances, dirt, hauling the field entrances on the 280th Street job. The plan we had wasn't sufficient, so we're finishing up some work on that. That is not part of the contract. That's just Page County work. We're mowing on the gravels. I saw more on the pavement this morning. Earlier this week, we were finishing up on J64. The machines are back to town, so that part's done. Spray pressure's working. And although it was on last week's engineer update, which you got, it wasn't publicized, but the maintenance crew is returning to 5 8-hour days starting next week. We're continuing to work on tires at the shop, various services, and we brought in another load of road oil on Wednesday. The J55 project is underway. The rock has been placed. They're grinding powder. They ground in cement powder for the length of 4,400 feet today. That's their goal for the day. It'd be 10 cement powder tanks a day. So it'll be all next week. We'll be doing that. They are not working. They're working tomorrow, but not Saturday due to the holiday. The other Saturdays, I anticipate them working on Saturdays. Everything else on the engineer's update is on the agenda. Questions for the engineer's update?
At that pace, when do you think that'll roughly be done? A couple weeks or?
So it'll take a little more than a week for the grinding into powder. And then there's the double chip seal. I'd say it's still 4 to 5 weeks overall is still
Getting done.
a good duration for the project. And
Do you know when, this is a little bit different, but do you know when the Stanton Road will get the road markings?
I'm about to call up the painters.
Okay,
We've got enough time has elapsed, I believe, based on when we did it. Yes.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is the contract for the Essex North Bridge.
Yep.
There's a list of bidders. We had 4 companies, and DOT issued a contract with AM Coron and Son, $2,809,420.31. Contract, to need a motion to approve that, or award that.
I'll second.
A motion and a second, that's the low bid on a 4 bids.
Yes.
And this was under your estimated,
It was the raised grant that we were awarded for this bridge. The estimate for the bridge was $3,700,000. So it came in substantially,
almost $1 million. There, the.
$800,000 less. And there was another bridge in the same letting, also raised up in Clay County, their estimate was 4 million. Their project came in at 3.2.
About the same.
So there's contractors out there that are hungry.
Yeah.
Now, this is also 2.8 million was what the Essex West Bridge cost in general numbers. So it's not, there's not a mistake involved because they were so far away.
Mhm.
So I'm confident that this is a good number.
Okay. Well, we can vote on that. Got a motion and a second.
Resolution number 40-2.
No, that's next. That's different. This is just a motion to the award.
Award the contract, A.M. Corp. for 2.8 million.
Mayor,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll award that contract.
Okay, thank you. Now we turn to the resolution 40/2024, which has the board authorizing me to sign this digitally because there's no provision for wet signature from the board on contracts nowadays.
I move that we approve resolution 40-2024, authorizing the engineer to sign the contract for the Essex North Bridge digital.
Okay, got a motion?
I'll second.
Second. Now, that's what this resolution says, gives you the ability to sign that.
Right, and I need signatures on that.
You have one, or you want to use this one?
If they're loose, you can sign them there.
Okay, we'll pass it around here. We'll get a motion and a second. We'll vote on that, then we'll sign it.
Mayor,
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Okay, so we can sign you on. Try to skip that.
The next agenda item is the final voucher for BRS swap C073 parent 140 FF-73, which is the 280th Street Bridge, which does have provisions for a ink signature from the chairman.
Okay.
So, I have that here, not stapled and
Everything.
double-sided.
That's the final,
This
everything's
is
done
it,
on that
yes.
bridge. Everything's
Yes.
smooth and ground. I got that all fixed.
We ground the bump at the approach.
It's all good.
It's not perfect, it's better.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we authorize chairman to sign the final voucher for BRS-SWAP-CO73 140-FF-73 for the 280th Street Bridge.
I'll second it.
all right, got a motion and a second. Sign this. I guess we'll, in the discussion, we'll vote on.
Mayor,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Okay. Sign that. I think Judy has the thing.
Kristen has it.
Kristen has it.
I'll pick it up from her.
Okay.
I'll get it from you tomorrow.
You want it now?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Last thing we have is that.
Last thing is, FMTC out of Stanton is doing the fiber in the area northwest of Clarinda. There's a map. The approval for that.
Got that here. Just have a motion to give them permit to bury that fiber.
Make a motion that we approve the FMTC utility permit for fiber installation.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second to issue that permit. Discussion? If not, we'll vote on that.
Mayor,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Okay,
And now with the construction of the Essex North Bridge, all the big bridges on the east and east Nevada, there's 4.
Mhm.
And the east and the Nottaway, the west Nottaway, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 county bridges on that. They've all been worked on or new.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, next up on the agenda, we have Jeff Curtis. Samus Group.
How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. Surviving the heat.
Yeah, awful hot.
You guys can hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Ongoing progress. A&W Enterprises, Crane Construction are submitting their required submittals, starting to procure the retention pond structures. We want to get those on hand before we start clearing dirt. That way, we're able to make sure we have our stormwater prevention, pollution prevention plan in position to forego any potential silting and any undisturbed areas to the south. Last week, Venture Architects met with the state plan reviewer when it comes to the seismic rating that we're running into with the overall build category for the building. They are going to make us abide by the seismic design C. Long story short, what that means is the 911 dispatch and all of its supporting services, the utilities, the electrical, the HVAC, and means of egress and exiting out of the building will have to be at this higher risk build category, which our first go around on our building, that's how that was bid out with that. So we're trying to get some value engineering. What we're going to do now is 911 dispatch, and we'll be moving to the eastern side of the building. We can build probably exact percentages would be about 57% of the sheriff's department area will be built at the higher risk category 4, which will cut down on we won't have to build that in the jail pod area, in the high security areas to the west of the building, which will definitely help bring this project we're anticipating and hoping it brings us back within line with our budgetary items. With that, of course, we will not be going off for bid tomorrow like we had planned on. We're looking probably about 2 weeks before we're able to get this back out for bidding. But again, there'll be more with that. We meet again with the remainder of the design team to rework the necessary plumbing into that new area. The actual building footprint itself is staying the same. We're actually decreasing by about 100 square feet in the sheriff's department area because of a bump out in one area that we can clean things up a little bit better to help with this process. So once we do that, I will get in front of you guys again, hopefully next Thursday, with our new defined dates as to when we'll put this back out for bid. The plan is still to get the footings and foundations in by the end of this year before winter hits, which will still fall in line with our schedule within reason with a push of the precast. So once precast would become available, then the building will be ready to start being erected. What that also does, of course, part of our budget, we had built in some temporary heating for the building, seeing how we're going to be working on it during this winter. We're able now not to have to worry about that, which also adds about 70 to 80,000 back towards the budget. So it's kind of somewhat of a blessing. Did it delay us a little bit? Yes, just a little bit. But past history shows, and just recently, one of the counties here in Iowa did not build to the necessary seismic rating. The state did not issue their substantial completion until just recently, and they had to put the additional stuff in it. So by being a little more proactive with the state plan reviewers, that'll eliminate that problem for us.
This is for the dispatch, right?
Correct.
Is the rest of the jail this is just because dispatch is there?
Correct. Dispatch is considered an essential service. So for some reason we have catastrophic, let's say earthquake is what the seismic portion is. 911 dispatch has to stay up and operational. Even though the state of Iowa has the statewide 911 program with your guys' emergency action plan, the state plan reviewer and Homeland Security still would not allow us to not build dispatch area at that Class C rating. They still consider that a high risk build. Therefore, that area has to be at the higher cost per square foot is a good way of saying it.
You're making them off the edge of the building and only doing that part.
Correct. Once we get the finalized plan, which will be Monday or Tuesday is what we're being told, I will send that out to you folks there with the board, and then we can go whatever, but however we want to get it further developed for public. That way, everybody will understand exactly what's going on. So essentially what we ended up doing is on that eastern side, we had some of the sheriff deputies open offices and 911 dispatchers directly to the north of where we were coming into the building. We have now pushed that over to the east. That way we're able to relocate or have that corridor and going back to the east up into the electrical room, making that what we'll call, the correct term isn't a hardened shelter, but it'll be built at that higher seismic category. So it's basically a standalone with all the necessary services. For some reason, again, it does go down, that place will stay up and operational.
Questions on anything? Okay, well, I guess we'll see what you find.
My plan will be to be down there next Thursday evening, and with a refined floor plan, I will have some prints for you guys to have for your possession also.
It'll be morning.
Next
It'll be a
Thursday
morning. Yeah, it'll be a morning meeting.
Yeah, morning. At
Yep.
9.
Perfect. Yeah, that's right. It's first of the month. So yes, Thursday morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, look at
Any
that.
other- Any other questions for me right now?
I think so.
Oh,
right.
thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up on agenda number 7, we have Donald Farms, Suburban Berry Brush Pile County Farm. $2,400. The old house and the trees that went with it in the pile.
That's how reasonable.
Did we not get any other bids or we just,
We didn't do bids. We just
Okay.
asked Justin.
We just asked
for
them
a
what-
price. If we want to go out, we can, just so we think it's reasonable, the berry brush pile. Berry.
Since he's down there and he's familiar with it.
Yeah.
he knows what it- Yeah.
Um,
It seems reasonable to me, but I don't, you know. I don't know.
The one thing I'm gonna talk about here in a minute, we did. JD's gone.
Yeah.
One thing I learned at Isaac, sitting around the table, was you sitting at the table when those guys talked about that in another county about the secondary roads, what they did?
Oh.
They
yeah.
leveled the land for their new jail.
Yeah,
They're building a
They
new
did.
jail, and they did all the dirt work, all the prep work, and he said, we'll buy you a bulldozer, as they bought, not just for the jail, but they buy equipment. They're doing it all, they burn they said several houses, several things the county had in their farm, and different things. They just tell them, well, as long
You
as
still
we're-
have to pay secondary.
I'm sure you have to go through the budget, but so they did
yeah.
tons of work for them, so that was something they said that's part of buying the equipment, they're gonna use it, so, anyway, that was very interesting, but, I mean, that's our other option on the brush pile especially. They could get rid of that brush pile, but, I mean, if we wanna move ahead with this, I don't think this is out of line.
I guess I would move that we approve paying.
And this will come from the farm money, the
Yeah.
money has been generated by
We
the
haven't-
farm,
we haven't Much money back into it.
we haven't spent hardly any money in several
And
years.
this is just the old house that's torn down there. That's basically what it is. It's not the trees.
No,
Cause I
it's
see
that-
next one's the,
That's
Okay.
all the trees and the fence that's gonna be north of jail. That
Okay.
whole- It's brush,
That was what Jacob was looking at.
oh, okay.
brush and all that
Alright.
stuff up through there. so.
I would second Judy's motion for
So
the,
did we do both of them or did you do one?
just the first.
Okay, we got a motion
We'll
and
just keep it
a
separate. I
second.
guess,
Yeah, let's do that. Totally did the motion and a second to hire them to burn and
Bury
bury.
the,
For $2,400.
for $2,400, yes.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. We understand what we're doing?
Mayor,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes,
Clark.
Yes.
okay. I didn't know that, so we can get that going. Next on the agenda, we have the tree line that runs east and west, just south of Orchlands or TSC. It's full of brush. It's got quite a bit taller here in the last few years. It's kind of a mess.
So
in relation to that, part of the site work contract that you've already awarded Justin with A&W Enterprises is to clear and grub part of that fence line for the utilities that will run
Well, let's wait then.
to the west side. The concern that I have is we've already spent multiple $1,000s to have site surveys and control points and stakes put in, GPS locations
Yeah.
put in there, so we really don't, I mean, we can do it later, or talk to Justin about an addendum to his contract when he's already got equipment there to do more than what he's already contracted to,
We
but
could ask him how much he wants to do that, but on the,
Right.
when he mowed the weeds down, we told him where the points were to watch
yeah,
out for.
the points are all within the drip line, so when Justin mowed it, it wasn't an
No
issue.
problem, yeah.
But if we're gonna go in there with equipment and
Those
ruin
down.
those set points, then we're gonna have to start back
Yeah,
over
well, they
and
wouldn't do
get that
that.
all resurveyed and everything,
Yeah,
so
no, I would,
I would recommend that we hold off
It's
on
fine
that,
to wait on that.
that fence line for now.
perfect.
All right,
Yep.
we'll wait and see where it comes to. Why don't we ask, or we can ask, I guess,
I'm just gone.
let's just see how much in the bid it is to do that, because I imagine it might be way more than what this is, I would guess, maybe. We can see. Just see how
I
much
will talk to him and then I'll let you guys know.
Get a price on that, see where they're at, so,
Okay.
okay, we'll wait and look at that.
Thank you.
All right, so 8, we're gonna wait on 8.
Yep.
All right, the next thing we have is something else we heard about at one of the sessions up there, putting a pie graph on Beacon to show where all the taxes go. Todd, you put that on there.
Yeah, no, and it was just presented to us and it seemed like a really good idea. I was unclear that really the assessors pretty much have control over Beacon, and with talking with Jason, I mean, I don't think he's opposed to it. But it probably is, there's probably more money that would have to pay to Beacon to do it. And they do have, I think he told me there is something on the bottom or the backside of the tax statement
Yeah,
that does show it as well.
in our training, remember they were saying, I think it was that one, what was that one lady talking about the pie graph, and they
Yeah.
acted like, and I'd like to know the numbers, have him actually come tell us what it costs. They acted like it was just part of it.
Yeah, I told Jason, yeah, I
Tell
told
us what
Jason,
it
I
is.
said, maybe we'll just make it a different agenda
Yeah,
item,
let him
when he
come
can
talk about
come
it.
and be here and we can talk through it.
He can come in and show us too.
Yeah, I know
What-
they have some other things too, and he mentioned some other things it can do, and
Is anybody familiar with Beacon? When
Yeah.
Beacon,
Very handy.
you can go in and look up your real estate.
yeah, there's all kinds of things, yeah, there's all kinds of
Who owns what?
uses for it, but.
But most counties there said they'd already done it. I mean, several people were saying it.
There were a few, but I don't think most of them had it. I think.
Yeah, there's a few, but, yeah,
I
but,
asked a couple, I said, I think that's a good idea, so we're already doing it. So,
Yeah.
but that, it just is a picture, people like pictures. I can't imagine it cost anything to have the numbers put in the picture.
It always costs something, Jacob. believe
Yeah.
me.
Much.
it does, I'm
Shouldn't
sure they're
cost
gonna get
much.
their money
Especially
somehow.
when
so.
Beacon Snyder's doing it.
Yeah.
it does.
At least we can have them come talk to us about it, see what it is.
Yeah.
So that's all, we're just bringing back an idea we heard up there, so.
So look for that on future agenda, probably.
Help
with-
people to
with the
understand.
Assessors and, we'll
How the taxes are cut in the county with a picture, to see where it all goes, the school and all the different things.
Yep.
Okay. So if claims here, I did not see these emailed today, I checked before I come in
I
here,
didn't either. I didn't.
so we didn't get them till right now. No time to review these at all.
yeah, I didn't know we had, I guess, were those from last week since we didn't meet?
No, it's just on the 30th.
Or they are from, okay.
They're not. I don't know, I'm gonna have to. Did they send them out now? Have they, I'm gonna have to go home. There's so much here, I don't know how to even look through all this. I'm
It would have
looking,
come from Bethany.
I looked before I left, because last time, I think it was in the afternoon, there was almost very little time. I about to do this next week, we haven't even looked at them, so I don't know what the right word is in that table, because we didn't get these, so.
Yep.
Table to the next meeting, we can all look at them.
Table it till Tuesday and get them in the email to,
Yeah, email it to
or
us.
till Thursday, I mean, next
Yeah,
Thursday
and we'll
morning.
just put them through then, I guess. So that's kind of where I'm at on that, since we didn't even get them. So let's do that.
So you're skipping board communication?
Oh, did I skip that? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, I did jump right there. She
Yep.
handed that orange folder to me and knocked me off. Well, let's back up to 10 then, sorry. Board communication, go ahead.
Alright, well, yeah, I didn't have anything, but I would say that, last week was very interesting. One thing that I thought was awesome was the CIA guy that we listened to. I could listen to him
I
for
could have listened to him all day long.
all day, yeah, cause he was really interesting and it just gave a great insight into the life of a spy and CIA. The one thing that that I learned about I thought was quite interesting is I had the opportunity to talk to a county engineer from, I believe it was Buchanan County. Not for sure 100%, but I think that's what he says, from Buchanan County, but he does a lot of bridge work and he has a company in Kansas City that he goes and gets
Mhm.
flat railroad cars. And they use them as bridge planks, basically. And, he was showing me all kinds of, pictures and he had a presentation and, he's saved one bridge. I think he said it was gonna be like $1.8 million or something. And he did it for 300,000. And he said, it's been there for 20 years. And he said he's never had to redo it. And, yeah, I have not talked to JD about it, but I have the guy's card and I just thought that was a really neat idea. And he said the only downfall would be is that sometimes there's contractors and things or inspectors that don't like them to be used. And so you find one that does like it or will let you use them, then it kind of helps. But they looked, he just pours concrete on top of them and it looked like a concrete bridge. And of course, they don't have wheels or anything underneath and they still have to pour the footings and stuff, but really saves a lot of time too. And so that was something that was really cool. And I thought it would be a good idea for cost savings if we're, repairing bridges or doing some even small bridges on a walking path or wherever, so. And I don't have any meetings, so, which is kind of nice.
There's a lot of things also can be learned in the walking around. I call it the farm show for supervisors, all the stuff with the pins and everything, but that's where the Farnsworth Group, that's where I met them and talked to the guy he's actually the guy that owned it a couple of years ago, and that's how we got, I was them a long time about, then they come bid to win the project.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff like that, you make connections with salesmen, but you try to put a face to it, negotiate with them a little bit, and figure out what they have. There was a budget workshop that was pretty interesting, where different supervisors sat there and told how they did their budgets and how they started, and where they went. Which was the county that talked, the guy that they have the best? It was by Iowa City somewhere, which county was that? The lowest levy in the state, I think. I can't remember which county it was. Remember that guy? He talked about they started at 0 every year and built up, like their levy, they started from scratch and built it up. And,
That was during the Hot Topics.
yeah, when they had the
Oh,
three sitting
yeah.
up there, the three supervisors going
Yep.
through their budgets and how they do, what they do in their county, that works good. That's where they also talked about the beacon thing, I think. Anyway, so there's a lot from the salesmen to the talking to they're all going through the same issues with wind and solar and ordinances and all of those things also.
Well, we're all facing House File 718 and trying to.
Yeah, and I'm thankful we are in a good position versus some other counties, because there's some counties that are not, and I really feel bad for them, because I think they're gonna be hurting for a while. So,
Yeah, there are some that are in really bad shape.
Yes.
So, I mean, you look at the lower tier of Iowa, and they've never had much money going across, and they don't have the best farm ground or anything else, so they're all in bad shape.
Population would be very low.
Right.
Like Ringgold and all those very low.
Yes, the CIA guy was fantastic.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
There's some spies up here, I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, he was so good.
yeah, it was really, and I guess the thing that caught me was he was talking about, they have disguises and masks, and he says, anything you've seen on Mission Impossible, all pretty much realistic. That's, the masks are so real, you would never know they're the person. I
This
was
is
like,
not
well,
really
there goes
Todd.
all my conspiracy theories right there. I just,
He and his wife were spies for like 30 years in,
yeah,
across the pond. Anyway, and they have retired, and he's teaching at Texas A&M now.
yeah, at the George Bush Law School.
The George Bush, yeah, in the spy school. And they can no longer travel,
Abroad, yeah.
because if they do and they go into some of those countries, they could be arrested for espionage where they committed some of those things, you know, but he said, if you're afraid of me, you should see my wife. You know? But they raised 3 kids while they were doing it. And when they got out, he said his brother was really upset with them because they didn't tell their families what they were doing. And his brother was really upset with him for not sharing.
Yeah, I thought it was funny how his father-in-law thought that he was a lowlife because he couldn't keep a job because they had to move a lot for different things, and he thought his daughter had married such a lowlife, and they were so happy they found out, oh, they were in the CIA. That was just, thank goodness he was not a lowlife, so.
You know, there were good and bad things, different, things that we attended, but you really learn so much just sitting around tables and talking to people, talking to other elected county officials, whether they're supervisors or auditors, treasurers, conservation, anybody. You just really learn a lot from talking to others and how they're doing things.
Yep, you realize that there's a lot of people in the same boat.
Okay. On the claims, that's the next one. I jumped ahead earlier.
Yep.
Gonna table those. Do we have to have an action to table something? I'm not sure about that.
I would just make a motion that we pay the claims next week on Tuesday, or Thursday.
Oh, we haven't seen them yet.
Uh-huh,
Oh, you mean to push
to
it?
to review them
Those next Thursday.
Thursday. Do we have to make a motion for that?
I think we just need to put it to the next meeting, so we'll skip
Okay.
it. So let's go to the next meeting. All right.
Okay.
So are you making a motion or no?
I don't think
No,
so.
I'm not,
We're
sorry.
just,
We're just not taking action.
there's no action
No
on
action.
11.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
So
You
you
want-
don't pay claims.
Please come up to the mic.
So if you don't pay claims and we have late fees on different things, where does that come from?
Well, we've got to see what we're paying. How many bills have you paid without looking at them?
Huh?
How many bills have you paid without looking at them?
How many do I pay on time?
Without
Without
looking at
looking
them.
at.
No,
them.
I agree with you. I'm not arguing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we didn't get them, so I don't,
Claims are probably claims that have been already approved by the budget.
Yes, that's what I'm saying is if we have claims that don't get
So I.
paid
They would be paid.
and they're late fees, I guess,
I'm
is my
assuming-
question as a
Well, we
elected
need to-
department head and accountable for all the
Yeah, you're
money.
gonna pay, Lyle's gonna pay it, Sue's gonna pay it, but we're the sheriff's department right now.
No. We pay it. We get them in on,
What I'm
close to
saying
on
is,
time.
I would guess most of them are in your budget and they would already be
They are.
paid,
we need
like
to,
lights and
I would
phone
say
and.
that we, you know, that
we just need to.
I know you need to look at them and go over them, and I
See what
understand that
happened and make
100%.
sure we get them ahead of time. This week we didn't.
I
get
just
it,
wanted to
so.
make sure that you would be aware that there might be some that would be late.
Mine
I don't
was
know
my
if this is the
opinion.
water bill cycle or the power company cycle
In
or,
there's certain things that are predetermined, certain things that are spelled out to be paid.
I know that. but
So that's
We still
what,
have to approve all the things that come out of different line items for that.
yes,
I
but
just
we,
wanted to throw that out for you.
so, yeah, the thought I would think here is make sure we get these ahead of time. That got missed somehow, so. Okay, so we will work on that next week. I got so we're 11 or 12 the minutes. Here, here's a couple of them here. If I have got something there.
Yeah.
Up there.
Right.
recommended these, remove the discussion. Oh, there's a ton of discussion on here.
Yeah.
So, be very expensive set of minutes to print, what this would cost.
You need this back.
No.
Okay.
I mean, no.
I'll make a motion that we approve the amended minutes to meet the Iowa Public Information Board guidelines as presented to the clerk in this meeting. And these minutes to be published in the Page County Board of Supervisors Minute Book.
Okay, I'll second that.
Mayor,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes,
Clark,
good. Did you get a copy of that, Kristen?
yes.
Okay, all right, with that done, there's nothing else for the last item to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Oh, second.
All right, Judy made the motion to adjourn, Todd seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned.